Warning, warning. Battle convoy now approaching Tanhony Towers. High chances of non-Euclidean topography. Please, ready your weapons and await further instructions.
And that's enough for being lippy, Darnell, you fool. I'll kill you. Oh, we're recording. Hello and welcome to the Discovering SCP podcast. My name is Tanhony.
I'll never rebel again.
This is my friend Darnell, and as for me, I am Tanhony.
You blew out my lower jaw. The only reason I can speak is because I'm holding my hand in place of my jaw.
And we actually have a special guest today.
We do?
Yeah, here he is. Hi, I'm Tanhony.
That's not special.
Well, he's brought a friend of his too. Hi, I'm Tanhony.
Tanhony isn't special or unique. He's not one in a million. He's the opposite of one
in
a million.
He's 1 in a million. You got it right in one.
He's so 1 in 1.
1 in 1, the one and only. You're correct.
Tanhony, he's nothing special. What did he write? Probably some no-name SCP, right?
How dare you?
Wait, what is that he wrote?
Hey, they call me Mr. 5000, and this is my little podcast where I take this guy and make him read all the most badass SCPs out there. You know what?
All they have to do is with bikes, beer, and babes.
Hey, we get through 4 SCPs this time. We gotta ride a monster truck.
Yeah, we're gonna rent a monster truck and then crash my motorcycle, die.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
I'm Darnell's ghost. You have to let me go.
SCP-2992.
Oh, what's that?
It's you.
It's awfully close to 3,000. It's me? Oh, God.
But I don't actually know what SCP-2992 is, so we're going to check now and see what your SCP title is.
Wait, is this not one of the ones you have planned?
No, I just said a number. So your SCP title is Everything Flows Towards Cadence.
That's the most chuny name I could think of, and it's perfect.
But ask me the question, Darnell.
You already said 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, baby. There's a theme to this, but there is... So
okay,
there is a theme, but you will not possibly figure the theme out until next episode.
Oh, yeah? You want to bet?
I'll kill you.
Alright, so what's the first one, before we continue this ad infinitum?
First, for the first one, watch out, Darnell, the floor of Tanhony Tower is about to open up, but we're not going to another zone. It's a time portal. We're going back to Season 1 for our first one here. Get in the TARDIS. Welcome to the time zone.
This doesn't have any coherence.
What do you mean?
We're literally like the radio hosts of podcasting. We're just fucking making noise.
Whoa, wacky boing!
This one is called SCP-529, Josie the Half-Cat.
Joe the Half-Cat? What's the other half?
And this was by Lieutenant Masipag.
What's the other half, Tan?
The
picture! Let me... Hold on, before we start, babble on so I can see if I can log in for once on the wiki.
So, this guy Darnell, you know him? He's trying to log into his account.
They let me in for once. I'm in.
He's voting on an SCP article. Will he give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, maybe even a neutral?
This is a really short one, which makes me think the other 3 are going to be really long.
Well, let's get into it.
Alright.
Item number, SCP-529. Object class Soph-A. Special containment procedures. No special precautions have yet proven necessary. Okay, that's the article over.
Oh,
Josie is quite affectionate, and at this stage is free to move about the lower levels of the facility.
This is where I have an issue, because I know this is a wiki and it's a fictional setting, but there's a certain amount of immersion I like to have, and when someone writes something silly like a cat being affectionate, it just really breaks that fourth wall for me.
This is very early SCP, if that gives any leeway for you.
Yeah, I guess. But I've never known a cat to be affectionate, and it just seems
I thought you were like over the non-professionalness of it.
No, I know what it meant because there's no such thing as a nice cat. They're all so fucking mean.
Why don't you post in the comments whether you think cats should exist or not?
I didn't say that!
Staff are not permitted to feed cheese to her. She will become distressed if not given sufficient cheese. So what do you think about the article? What do you think?
She sounds more like a fucking mouse than a cat. She needs cheese. This is so stupid. I hate it. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's go.
Description. SCP-529 is a small house cat, Felis catus, that was my favourite Roman emperor, with grey tabby markings.
The great Felis catus.
The only known cat boy Roman emperor.
Anime catboy Roman emperor. Get me my... Oh, wait, no, never mind. Forget that.
Where's the Colosseum, Jan?
It's just the catboy from ReZero.
Parts of the animal to the rear... Okay, let's get into the SCP.
Yeah, sorry.
Is a small house cat, Felis catus, with grey tabby markings. Please, if anyone's listening and wants to draw Felis catus, the Roman emperor, please feel free.
I would love to see that.
Parts of the animal to the rear of the end of the ribcage appear to be missing. The body terminates sharply as if sliced in two.
That was probably what Felis catus did when this cat didn't obey him.
In spite of this, the animal has no health problems and moves about as if its hindquarters were still in place. For example, walking takes place as usual, and sometime after feeding, the animal makes motions as if to void itself of waste matter.
Hello?
Hi. Hello? Don't know.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
You okay?
Sorry about those technical difficulties. Felis catus executed me.
Okay. I'm going to leave that in because that was very strange.
Sorry.
Okay.
Last thing I heard was in spite of this.
In spite of this, the animal has no health problems and moves about as if its hindquarters were still in place. For example, walking takes place as usual, and sometime after feeding, the animal makes motions as if to void itself of waste matter.
Ew.
The cross-section does not display the interior of the animal, but appears pure black to the eye, and absorbs all non-visible wavelengths of light. It is slightly yielding to the touch.
What does that mean?
It means that you can push it, I guess.
How can it defend itself? It only has 2 legs.
Gentle stroking of this area sometimes yields a positive reaction, purring and so on, but more usually leads to the creature turning on the agent, the creature.
So which is it? Is she quite affectionate, or does she fucking...
When you put her hand inside her inner, she doesn't like it.
Oh, they're talking about the invisible area.
Yeah.
I see.
Those scratched have experienced no abnormalities. The hindquarters do not appear to be invisible. A cursory examination will show that there are no hindquarters. DNA testing has shown the animal to be female. Dun
Wow.
dun dun!
What an excellent article. No, I'm giving it a hard time. I obviously nitpicking. It was cute.
Yeah.
Give it a 5 out of 10.
So, Build-A-Bear, remember Build-A-Bear?
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of riffing off these kinds of articles from early on, where they just let it do what it wants because it's cute.
Yeah. It seems really bizarre. I've never known a cat to be affectionate, but I've also never known a cat to miss half of its body, so touche. So what's the next SCP you have? I'm glad that we pulled all the way back to season 1 for that.
Don't worry, there's a theme. But you will not figure it out. I'm not kidding.
Is it
There is actually no way for you to figure it out.
I assume
the viewers will figure it out, but you will not.
I assume there's going to be a group of interest, and that group of interest is related to this SCP and several others, but because the group was written later, there's no signs of it in the earlier articles. That's my guess.
Maybe something like that, but I don't think you've quite got it either.
Right.
Next one is SCP-993 by Tanhony.
Why does that number sound familiar?
It's
This
Bobble
is by
the
you?
Clown.
Oh, it's Bobble! I read this one, it's Bobble! Hey guys, have you checked out epic Bobble quotes on our channel?
I love Bobble! I'm a bobblehead!
Yeah, he likes to kidnap people through the TV and kill them.
That's not what he does!
Tan is very, Tan is a nice guy. He doesn't have many pet peeves, but one of them is when someone misinterprets one of his SCPs. He will just go off.
I love Gorefield. I fucking love Gorefield. I can't help it.
Yeah, it's Gorefield, right?
I fucking love Gorefield. Bobble is Gorefield.
Alright, so this is one of the few ones that we're going over that I've already read, but I'll give my best react.
I feel like we need to have a bit of knowledge of this. So, item number, SCP-993, object class Cephe. Special containment procedure. I'm pissed off that no one's laughed about my Cephe pronunciation. I've been doing it for 25 episodes!
Yeah, I was about to say, new drinking game for those of you who are of age. Take a shot every time he says Safe. and we'll see
Special
how that
containment
goes.
procedures. Any broadcasts of SCP-993 are to be intercepted as detailed in Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 and blocked from public viewing. This is interesting because I don't often read my earlier ones, so now I'm gonna be critting myself.
I like Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 because that's Pub 3, which sounds like PUBG.
I invented it, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
All intercepted broadcasts are to be recorded and stored for future viewing.
You ever just got a DVR full of SCP episodes?
Any subjects used to view SCP-993 must be under the age of 10 and are to be dosed with a Class A amnesiac. Oh, what are you talking about? We got a forgetful guy in there. We're going to dose them with a forgetful guy. What are you talking about,
Wow,
Tanhony?
so this is how
After
Dungeons and Dragons characters. All Dungeons and Dragon characters are SCP subjects because they're all amnesiacs.
Yeah, we just dose people with them. We
Also, shouldn't it
put
be
them in a
amnestic,
string.
not
That's
amnesiac?
what I'm talking at. Yeah.
Maybe you got to make an edit for that one.
Viewing of SCP-993 must be authorized by free level 4 personnel.
See, I love that because you always talk about how you hate when people write the number and then do it. And
Because I used to do it to an absurd degree. But I'm looking. Are you sure about that, past Tanhony? We need free level 4 personnel to approve watching the clown.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, someone thought all the 05 needed to deliberate on what cast he was allowed to have.
Description. So SCP-993 is a children's television program entitled Bobble the Clown, which first began airing in blank blank 19 blank.
Wait, hold on. Why are you blanking? You're the author. Give me a date.
It was 12th of October 1995.
Nice.
That was my date of birth.
Really?
Yeah. Oh shit.
Wait, guys, Tanhony's birthday is in less than 2 months.
It's gonna be bleeped out in the final release.
Is it?
No. You've made me. It's like I've revealed my true name.
It's like a fucking. You're reading your own SCP and it's become like a fucking therapist session. I'm like, tell me about your.
It's
childhood.
like I'm like fucking Rumpelstiltskin. I revealed my true name, and now you have power over me.
Yeah. Let's see if I use that power or not.
So the SCP seems to have been made in the style of an educational cartoon, with the primary plot of most episodes being the titular character, Bobble the Clown, learning a new skill or activity. The program appears to have no supporting cast, and the setting of the program often changes between episodes. The SCP's anomalous properties becomes obvious when the program is viewed. Anyone watching aged 10 years or older will immediately fall unconscious when the program begins, and will remain incapacitated until the end of the program, later reporting a stabbing headache immediately before blacking out.
Mm-hmm.
Children under the age of 10 viewing SCP-993 later report that it teaches and advocates activities such as cannibalism, murder, torture, data expunged.
So what is data expunged, author? Reveal to us.
Well, it's beep!
Sorry, you guys couldn't hear that, but it was truly horrifying.
Yeah.
We had to censor it because, honestly, if you heard it, it would probably
our
make
YouTube
you
channel
cry.
would be taken down.
Yeah, immediately. But I promise you it was very gruesome.
Remember SCP-231, like, the mom talk thing?
Mm-hmm.
Child's play compared to beep!
Yeah. Makes Montauk look like a safety exam. Like, oh.
Oh. I can't even remember what I said.
What
It's
if that is what data expunged is? Bobble's just like, this is Project Montauk. Do this to your friends and family.
These activities appear to be ingrained in the subject's mind. Repeated exposure to SCP-993 can result in permanent psychotic and schizophrenic symptoms.
So,
here's where
one thing
past Tanhony doesn't know anything about mental illness.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you made a mistake here with the whole psychotic and schizophrenic symptoms. What I thought would have been an interesting take is, have you heard that psychological experiment about, like, the kids, they show the kids 2 different clowns, and one's doing, like, violent acts, and one's just being a clown, and the kids kind of repeat based on what the thing is doing in the episode. Like, they would, like, give them a doll or something to beat up, I don't remember, like a dummy, and the ones who watched the violent show would more often beat him up, and the ones who didn't would, like, be nice and play nice with it. So what would be interesting to me is if, instead of random mental illness that makes no sense with what's going on.
That's basically what actually happens, but I don't know why I've written it like that.
Yeah, like the SCP people, after a child watches it, they give them something and they repeat the murder torture to the thing, and they, like, try to eat the doll. That would have been, I think, more both more consistent with what you were going for, and I think it would have been more driving. But early SCP, this was early TAN.
This is early TAN. This was my big break.
Yeah.
I think this was like my 10th SCP. Episodes of SCP-993 are regularly broadcast from a currently unknown source, but since blank blank 20 blank, all broadcast...
I need another date for that one, buddy.
12-10-21.
21? So it was in the year 201?
2001.
Oh.
All broadcasts have been successfully intercepted using Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 and blocked from public view. I love Protocol Upsilon Beta 3. I don't have to explain what they did. They did just like they did it.
Real quick, I need to check the history and go back to the beginning because this was written 9 years ago. Oh my god, it's almost the anniversary. 11 more days, and this would have been the anniversary.
Nice.
25th August. Wow, you were so little.
I was.
Little Tanhony.
I was very surprised when this one did very well.
So Tanhony actually lied. He was 14 when he wrote this, so he broke the rules. So if you guys
anyone tries to ban me, I take Darnell down with me. He's 10! He's 10!
Not 10!
Turn off the voice changer, Danny.
Alright, so next we have the episode log, right?
Why don't you read the episode log?
You want me to?
Yeah, let's have like both our people on this like contribute. Smile.
Okay. Episode title: Bobble's Kitchen Surprise. Setting of episode is a stereotypical small American town. What does 14-year-old Tanhony think a stereotypical small American town is? Describe it to me.
It's like the place from Twin Peaks.
Okay. In the episode...
Have you seen Twin Peaks?
No.
We'll watch it after. We'll do Discovering Twin Peaks someday.
In the episode, Bobble the Clown appears to kidnap one of the town's citizens and takes him to his home. So does Bobble have a consistent home? Because they say the setting is different each episode, if I remember right.
It presumably has like a Bobble the Clown mailbox outside.
Okay. Once there, Bobble the Clown informs the viewer on how to prepare human flesh for consumption, then proceeds to skin, gut, and cook the citizen. To be fair, if he's taking an American, that'll probably take a while given the obesity rate.
Right, yeah.
So it's probably very thorough. Bobble in the big city! Setting of episode is a large American city, possibly New York, as if New York isn't extremely iconic and recognizable. I love how they can't figure out if it's New York or not.
It might be like fantasy New York.
Is that Times Square? I just can't tell.
Bubble.
In the episode, Bobble the Clown instructs viewers on methods of lighting fires undetected using resources such as mosquito coils.
I knew that because I played L.A. Noire.
Nice. At the end of the episode, Bobble the Clown sets fire to a large building and leaves. The picture stays on the burning building for a further 3 minutes before the episode ends. Screams are audible during... Oh my god, did Bobble cause 9/11?
Is that what happened on 9/11? Like a large building set on fire?
Well, no, but remember the meme is like jet fuel can't melt steel beams? Was he the one who set it
Mosquito
up?
coils can.
Bobble's Sneaky Saturday. Setting of episode appears to be London, as the Elizabeth Tower housing Big Ben. Wow, just a cameo. When it's London, everything.
Well,
but they can't tell if it's New York.
Okay, leave me alone. I was thought, are you bullying a teenager, man?
In the episode, Bobble the Clown silently stalks a woman for most of the episode. When she arrives at her home, Bobble the Clown attacks and kills her with a large butcher knife. At the end of the episode, Bobble the Clown details methods of remaining unseen in crowded places. So one thing, another criticism I give that I think would add, although this may make it a bit more comical in tone than you intended, is so a lot of this is very visceral, and I think you can keep that, but rather than keeping it to like straight crime, like butcher crime, mosquito coil, gutting, using like clown implements, like strangling someone with like the handkerchiefs he pulls out, or like squirting acid in someone's eyes with a flower, something like that. I think that like fit the whole clown motif might have been a bit more interesting, but that's just personal opinion.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So next we get Bobble Gets the Truth. Setting of episode appears to be a prisoner of war camp. In the episode, Bobble the Clown tortures a captured soldier, repeatedly asking him nonsensical questions. The soldier eventually appears to die of his wounds. Bobble the Clown then details to the viewer how to inflict painful but non-lethal injuries. You've got to use a phone book because it leaves no bruises.
You never aim for the head. That way the victim gets all fussy.
Batman appears behind him.
I can't believe Bird learned how to commit war crimes from Bobble. It's like the opposite of Bobble in our setting. Oh, this one's called Bobble Hates You. That's sad. Setting of episode appears to be a blank room. Bobble the Clown sits on a chair in the room, staring angrily at the viewer for the full 30 minutes of the episode. It's like the Captain America PSA on the chair.
Yeah, so they've started... that's basically, yeah, they've started blocking his broadcast at this point.
So, what's the expletive in this next
Fuck.
one? Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Setting of the episode appears to be at Site 19's video archive, where recordings of SCP-993 are stored. In the episode, Bobble the Clown angrily details methods of breaching containment for several SCPs. Oh yeah, he is mad at them. Bobble then details methods to murder researchers involved in its containment, showing detailed knowledge of their daily routines and habits. Notably, what appears to be an animated version of Dr. Gears walks past Bobble halfway through the episode. A clock on the wall shows the time as 9:30 p.m. Dr. Gears confirms that he was walking past SCP-993's archive at the time. Oh, so he's like inside the building. Overall, obviously this is a popular SCP, and giving Tan some grace because he wrote it when he was 14. But there's still things that could have been improved. There are things that could be shored up. I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10. 8 to 7.
Excuse me.
It's not bad. I've already upvoted it, but I think it could be improved on. It's
You'll
clearly
die.
archaic for its
Archaic?
I have an honest print. I mean, am I wrong? I'm
You're
just
right.
trying to give you
Absolutely right. It would not do as well today.
Yeah, but if you edited up a few things, I think today it would still do well if you just changed a couple things, shorted up a bit.
I was the first guy to get to Spooky Clown somehow.
Yeah.
So.
Finally, Bobble.
Wow.
All right, so what's the next one on the list? I hope
Next
there's
one.
more Tanhony. Wait a minute, were you the one who wrote 529?
I was not.
Oh, I was wondering if that was the theme.
No. That would be a very easy theme to get from the second one.
That was Lieutenant Masipag for the
Yeah.
first one, if we didn't say it, sorry.
Okay,
I'm trying to credit all the authors.
The next SCP we're going... Oh, Darnell's a rope ladder. We're going out of the time travel zone. Climb.
Whoa! Climb!
Watch
I'm
out.
making climbing
We're
noises.
climbing out of hell on a single string.
No, Satan! Get away! I kick at him with my boots.
No, Darnell, that's a mirror. That was you're kicking.
Ah! Eventually. We did it. We made it out of the portal.
Normal zone.
What the fuck is this podcast?
This is the normal zone we're in now.
What
This is
are
like
we making?
also known as default zone.
Oh god, if you're still listening, you're a real trooper.
They love it. You love it, right?
This is the most ADHD podcast in all of existence.
So,
Oh.
the one we have next is a man who has been called Bobble the Clown's rival.
So, he exists.
Let's get it up here. Hey, sorry about that.
Alright. Wow, sorry, he got stuck in the time loop for a bit.
Yeah, I'll start going again.
For you guys, it was merely a few seconds, but for us, it was 10 years!
What was I saying?
Oh, here, let me pour youth potion on you.
The waters of Lemuria. So, what was I saying? I was talking about the man who was potentially a rival.
Yeah, and I was like, so he exists, and then you got fucking gutted into the time
He found
portal.
me.
He found you. So, why is he a rival to Bobble? Did you also write him? Is he just also a clown?
So this is a SCP by PeppersGhost.
Oh, we know Pepper's
Yeah, we love Peppa
They're
Pig.
pretty dope. Peppa Pig. That's the same person, right?
And it's
Peppa
called
Pig,
this
Peppa
one's
Ghost?
this SCP is called Laugh is Fun.
Oh, so it's a rival because it's vaguely clown related?
Well, let's get through it.
All right, well, hold on. There's a picture I would like to read here, if I
Please
may.
read.
Laugh is Fun, 1976 to 2014. Have you ever, Laugh, You Come Laugh and Have All the Fun and Laugh, starring all your favorite laughs so ever and always make go to your life? More info. Member average, 5 stars. Has 38 seasons.
That's better than our podcast.
Yeah, it is, to be honest.
And we also got an image of a man stepping out of a bathtub.
Ooh, so splendid.
Well, let's get into it.
Yes.
Item number, SCP-2030. Object class, Keta. Special containment procedures. Foundation-operated web analysis bot Delta-9, LaughStop, is to be kept in constant operation and checked for defects twice a week by a Level 2 staff member familiar with its operation. When functional, the bot will search a wide range of file sharing and video streaming websites for SCP-2030 and remove any manifestations discovered.
So it seems like the show itself is something anomalous, and it needs to be removed when it's posted rather than hidden or contained.
Finding and isolating its point of origin is considered a Delta-level priority. Efforts to locate the studio where it is filmed are ongoing. You know what you need in a situation like this?
What?
Protocol Upsilon Beta 3.
Damn right. So Delta level, is that a real thing, or is that something like fucking Pub Epsilon where it's made up bullshit?
What do you mean Pub Epsilon is bullshit?
Well, you know what I mean? Is it just a term for this article only? Or is
I
that
haven't seen it anywhere else.
Okay. So we don't have a reference for what that means.
From context, we can assume it means big. Bigly.
Okay. So, description.
SCP-2030 is an anomalous phenomenon that manifests as a television series. The medium through which it manifests changes depending on the most popular format currently in use. As of 2014, SCP-2030 most commonly inserts itself into automated DVD rental kiosks,
Like fucking Redbox.
file-sharing websites, and paid on-demand video streaming services. Prior to 2012, it commonly manifested as a DVD set in video rental stores and as VHS tapes prior to 2003.
Alright, so far so good.
Thus far, no reliable evidence that the SCP manifestation took place prior to the year 1993 has been discovered. However, 38 seasons of programming are known to exist, implying that it's been active to some degree since 1976.
Well, not necessarily, because if this is anomalous, who's to say they couldn't have pumped out multiple seasons in a year?
That'd be the only way. The series title typically appears as Laugh is Fun, although variations on this name, such as Laugh is Life or Laugh is Laugh, are not
Is this
uncommon.
Live, Laugh, Love? Is that what this is?
The series has no corresponding box art. It mimics art from other television series, often causing viewers to select it, mistaking it for another program.
Oh.
The show is a hidden camera comedy series, showcasing the candid responses of various people to bizarre, disturbing, and often anomalous situations.
So here's my interesting bit. Just hearing that without going any further, wanting to make a guess. So I wonder now, and it'll probably answer as we read, if it's the situations are based on this SCP, or if it's an SCP that captures anomalous situations, and it can be used to help discover other SCPs.
Well, we'll find out.
All right.
Episodes
So
usually run between 10 and 12 minutes, and feature introductory and closing segments that bookend the hidden camera footage. No episode to date has had an end credit roll.
So they don't know who's making it.
SCP-2030-1 is a, presumably, human adult male that serves as the show host, providing introductory and closing commentary, as well as appearing to victims to reveal that they are being filmed for a television series. 2030-1 is invariably shown wearing a royal blue three-piece suit with black and white wingtip shoes. Due to the way in which scenes are filmed, Dash 1 is only seen from the neck down, making identification difficult.
Oh, like the picture. He's the guy in the bathtub, I assume.
It refers to itself as Laffy McLaughlin.
Laffy McLaughlin.
Individuals appearing on the show often react to the events that they witness with panic or distress, but appear immediately calmed upon the appearance of Dash 1. This is true even when the individual in question has sustained significant bodily harm or witnessed a particularly traumatic event. Additionally, most recorded individuals seem to express some degree of familiarity with Dash 1, with some claiming to be fans of the show. Research into whether SCP-2030 uses its viewership as its victim selection pool is ongoing.
So this is basically an SCP that says it was just a prank, bro, but it actually works for them.
Yeah.
Anomalously works. Oh, it was just a prank. Okay. Dude, every YouTuber prankster wished they could be this guy.
Yeah. Hey guys, Laffy McLaughlin here. Today we're going on Venice Beach to try and make out some cuties.
Should we, one day, if you're ever willing to do like real recording, we should do a Laffy McLaughlin video. Just go around, obviously with people that know, so we don't bother people. Just fucking do quote-unquote pranks.
Episodes follow a particular theme that each prank segment alludes to. Dash 1 introduces these themes at the beginning of each episode in an as of yet unidentified film studio, while standing atop a bright yellow stage decorated with oversized geometric shapes of various colours. Episode themes vary from this, like our themes. Episode themes vary from the mundane, such as the beach, pets, and candy, to the strange and violent, such as mail fraud, arson, and terrorism.
Ah, yes, the strange and violent, arson, terrorism, and mail fraud.
Haven't you heard what's going on? SCP-2030-1 delivers a similar speech at the end of each program to close out the show. At the end of each episode, the camera pulls back and around from SCP-2030-1's stage to show the studio audience, which usually comprises the individuals featured in the episode. During this time, the words, filmed in front of a studio audience, created in partnership with, yep, we're totally going to hell for this.
Wait a minute, aren't those the thing we read with Boris?
Those are the dog bat guys, yeah, the one who made the dog box.
No!
Are superimposed over the footage in white text. Research into the identities of the people featured in the show's prank segments has revealed they're all persons who are officially documented as having died or gone missing in the year they appeared on the program.
It wasn't listed in the Bobble, but is Bobble a part of, yeah, we're totally going to hell for this?
Bobble is his own thing.
Okay. So that's not the theme.
No. Thorough investigations into the deaths of SCP-2030 participants have revealed a number of inconsistencies and contradictions in matters concerning the circumstances of the deaths. Additionally, exhumations of the individual remains have revealed that all recorded participants' bodies are currently missing. The general consensus among researchers assigned to 2030 is that victims are likely abducted after their use in the show, with their disappearances covered up when possible.
I love how they just brush over the fact that people have died on show. Like, before they just kind of imply that they can get really hurt, but they just say, oh yeah, lots of people have died.
However, no concrete evidence connecting the individual's death with SCP-2030 besides the show's footage has yet been found.
Very bizarre. There's a seemingly...
Damn. Do you want to read this bit?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were pausing for a second, so I cut off. I was like, there's a seemingly large addendum here.
Why don't you read it? Yeah.
Should we popcorn it?
Yeah, sure.
I'll start then. The following are examples of pranks featured on the program. Season 24, year 2000. Episode theme, swelling. Individuals involved, Macy Gershom and Kyle Parker. Killed by... Stop! Killed by a hit-and-run driver. Hey, you're alright. Don't go to the fucking City Dual Friendship Cup.
I love this. I love these Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V references that no one gets.
Sorry, guys. Go watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. Okay, individuals involved. Macy Gershom and Kyle Parker killed by a hit-and-run driver on 9/18/2000. Scene description. An elderly woman sits on a park bench, feeding nearby pigeons with seed from a bag. Gershom and Parker, a couple, walk down a park path and approach the woman. Once the two come within approximately 1.5 meters of the elderly woman, a swarm of pigeons fly into the elderly woman's mouth, causing her stomach to become severely engorged and quickly rupture. The couple express great distress at the event until 2030-1 emerges from the elderly woman's open stomach cavity, at which point Gershom and Parker appear relieved. Oh, thank goodness it was just a prank. Season 21, 1997. Theme, Margaret Thatcher.
Honky Thatcher's dead.
Individuals involved, Doris Carter, who died of ovarian cancer on 2/24/97. Scene description. Mrs. Carter walks into her kitchen and opens a cabinet door, out of which falls a large mass of flesh. As Carter screams, the mass grows and shapes itself into a severely disproportional facsimile of former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Margaret Thatcher, with its head twice as large as its torso. Carter rushes to leave the room, but the Thatcher creature leaps onto her before she can escape. It extends its tongue into the woman's open mouth, and Thatcher faces... I assume it's faces off. Faces off various...
No, of.
And Thatcher faces of various sizes begin appearing across Carter's skin. The faces proceed to recite Thatcher's April 1986 speech on the bombing of Libya in perfect unison. 2030-1 climbs out of a nearby cupboard and points to the hidden cameras. Miss Carter smiles, the creature's tongue still extended down her throat. These are weirdly they feel like someone's fetishes.
What are you accusing good old PeppersGhost of?
Not PeppersGhost, but just I don't know. This feels like
Laffy's.
Yeah, definitely Laffy's. Season 13, 1989. Episode theme, Squirrels. Individuals involved, Melissa and Travis England. Oh, come on. Please. Disappeared last seen 5/12/89. Scene description. Mrs. England lies in bed next to a male figure, presumably Mr. England. A series of high-pitched squeaking noises are heard, and Mrs. England is awakened. She tells her husband to wake up, but he does not respond. She places her hand on his shoulder, but quickly draws it back with a shriek. His skin begins to undulate as though something is moving underneath. A multitude of squirrels then burst from various places on his body.
Which places?
I don't want to describe them. Quickly filling the bed and crawling onto the woman. She rises to leave the room, but 2030-1 walks in and turns on the light. He is accompanied by Mr. England, who has been skinned from head to foot, but gives no indication of feeling any discomfort. All three share a laugh, and the segment ends. Let's pass it off to you for these last three.
Okay, Season 13, 1989. Episode theme, Tracheotomies. Individuals involved, Gary Turman, Lindsay Turman and their children, died in a vehicle accident on 4/28/89. Scene description. The four sit around the dinner table eating a meal. Mr. Turman begins coughing and gasping for air as if choking. As the others at the table begin to panic, a pair of slits appear on Turman's throat, allowing him to breathe. These slits quickly become nostrils, which rapidly grow into a full nose, which in turn becomes an entire second head, identical to his original. This second head then sprouts a neck of its own, and the entire process repeats. This continues until 18 necks and heads have sprouted from the original, at which point SCP-2030-1 steps out from underneath the table. Everyone present erupts into raucous laughter, including all 19 of Mr. Turman's heads.
It's the Mr. Turman show.
My brother, and me. Season 37, 2013. Episode theme, Cephalopods. Individuals involved. Rebecca Nash, surgeons unidentified. Died of complications in child delivery on 11/02/13. Hospital records show no evidence of anomalous activity during birth. Scene description. A team of obstetricians perform a cesarean section procedure on Miss Nash, who is in labour. The team comment on the size of the child's cranium and the amount of hair present on it. Several minutes into the procedure, a doctor makes an exclamation of surprise and drops an instrument on the floor.
Oh no, my saxophone!
Muffled vocalizations can be heard in the background. The rest of the staff begin to panic as the head emerges unassisted from Nash, causing her a great deal of pain. The child's head can be seen to resemble that of American television presenter Ryan Seacrest.
This is definitely a fetish.
The child sings "Row, row, row your boat" in a female voice as it continues to exit the mother.
I don't want.
As more of its form emerges, the child can be seen to have the body of a fully grown octopus, Octopus vulgaris. Once the child fully exits,
telling me it's vulgar.
Once it fully exits Nash's body, it continues to sing as another head begins to emerge. 3 more children are produced in total. The heads of celebrities Jack Nicholson, American film actor, Johnny Cash, American singer-songwriter, and Martin Freeman, British film actor, respectively, all with similar octopus bodies. Together, the 4 sing "Row, row, row your boat" in 4-part harmony. SCP-2031 walks into the room and the show's jingle plays. He points to the hidden cameras in the room, prompting the obstetricians and Nash to begin laughing. The creatures on Nash's torso continue to sing. Nash then loses consciousness, presumably from blood loss.
Alright, and then we have one more left. The following seems to be a transcription of a typical speech delivered by 2030-1 during one of the show's closing segments. Tanhony, can you hit us off?
Season 32, 2008. Episode theme, Printers. Transcription. Ha! What a ride, eh, folks? We've seen printers that eat, eaters that print, and everything in between. Makes you appreciate the old clunker when you have back the office, doesn't it? No, printers may not always work when you want or need them to, but they sure make for some excellent comedy. And that's what we're about here, comedy. We're here to make you laugh. We hope you laughed. Thank you for laughing with us. That's what we're about here, doesn't it, folks? Come laugh with us again next time. And remember, laugh is fun.
Fun!
Good night, and laugh, just laugh. We love to make laugh. Make more for laughter so as to for laugh. Laugh with us.
Me when I bomb doing stand-up comedy.
Laugh with us. Laugh with us. Laugh with us. Laugh with us.
Laugh with us.
Laugh with us.
Laugh with
Laugh
us.
with us.
Laugh with
Laugh.
us.
Laugh. Laugh and let us in. Video cuts off abruptly and a black screen is played for 30 seconds. Laughter and soft, wet noises can be heard in the background before the program ends.
Ooh. So this one was a bit interesting. I'm a big fan of PeppersGhost, and I can tell this was an earlier SCP, so I'm not going to be too harsh on it. But when was this written? What, like 2014? I think this suffers a lot from, I guess this was more 2000s, but a little bit 2010s. So the beginning of the SCP starts really strong. The concept is intriguing, but I think the addendum is actually one of the weaker points. I think it ends strong, too, with that ending. But I feel like a lot of these episodes, they're very grotesque. And, you know, I was like, oh, I'm grossed out by it, but I'm not too bothered by, like, you know, gross descriptions. But it feels like the addendums are a little more like lull to random humor, but just in a grotesque way. There's not really a coherent theme that you're used to with more modern SCPs. Not as much of a story, but they're good shock value, I guess, if you value that. And like I said, everything leading up to the addendum and the ending, I think, is excellent. So I still want to give this a relatively high rating, but I just found that addendum fairly weak. Okay. I feel like there was
went
more
over the same thing.
Yeah, especially like there were a lot of things that were just they grow more heads that came up several times. But otherwise, I think it's fairly solid. It could obviously use improvement. And again, this is older, and I don't want to be harsh on PeppersGhost. I'm a big PeppersGhost fan from what I've seen. But I would probably give this one like a 7 out of 10, I would say. Okay. Not necessarily my favorite, but I'll give it an upvote. I appreciate it for what it is. I can see you upvoted it too because it went up by 2.
Yeah.
All right, so we have one more left today, right? Although we're not getting through these faster than I expected.
Well, this is a fairly longer one, so...
all right.
This is SCP-2845 by Djoric, and it's called The Deer.
And you're right, I've tried to guess the theme, but outside of it just all being related to a group I don't know yet, I can't really think of anything.
You will not get the theme of this episode. That is unambiguous.
I wonder if any of you think you know what the theme is. Comment it down below after we read this, obviously. But I'm interested.
You better not comment it while we're reading.
Yeah,
I'll
better
know.
wait. He'll know. He will. He's watching. Always watching. This one's very long, but it only has 458 upvotes. But before we get into it, let's check out who wrote it and when it was written.
Djoric.
It was by who?
Djoric.
Djoric. Have we read any of Djoric's works
I don't
before?
believe so.
All right. I like their profile. It's Link drinking coffee and he's cranky.
Let's get into it.
Yes.
Item number, SCP-2845. Threat level, black.
What's black again for threat
That's
levels?
as bad as it gets.
Okay.
Containment class, Keter. That's not object class either. Special containment procedures. Use of outsourced containment resources and consultants has been authorized for the containment of the SCP. Consultants to be considered level 2 personnel are at no time permitted to leave Site 100. If at any time an outsourced consultant must be removed from containment of SCP-2845, Class A amnestics is to be provided for release. A minimum of 30 trained individuals and an unhindered supply of untrained subjects is required for proper containment of the SCP. 48 trained personnel are currently assigned to active containment of SCP-2845, split into 8 teams of 6, with a further 24 individuals available as replacements.
Well, it's a lot of numbers going around. My head's kind of spinning a bit.
An allowance of 5 D-Class per week has been authorized for the containment of SCP-2845.
So I'm guessing containment requires some, based on how it's written, some sacrifice of human life, and their budget is 5 D-Class a week.
Site 100 has been constructed to the following specifications. Site 100 consists of 9 concentric circular bands, designated Ring A through Ring I, with a gap located between Ring C and Ring D, designated as Gap 1. 6 circular chambers are located at 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300 degrees within each ring and gap. The chambers located at 0 degrees are aligned with geographic north. 2 additional circular chambers are located outside of Ring I, located at 120 and 240 degrees. The floor of each circular chamber contains an unrestricted lead hexagram.
I'm going to be honest, this is really hard to picture in my head. I wish they had drawn it and just put a picture on the page.
I think in some way it is meant to be a bit confusing just to get across how absurd these containment procedures are.
Fair enough. In that case, it delivers on what it's aiming for.
So, the central chamber, containing SCP-2845 and 216 instances of -1, is to contain an atmosphere of 96.3% hydrogen, 3.25% helium, and 0.45% ammonia, maintained at minus 110 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 2.3 bar.
So what's interesting about this is the pressure and the temperature, obviously vastly different, but the atmosphere isn't necessarily too different from the atmosphere in the real world outside the lack of oxygen. But the lack of oxygen also makes me think that people that maintain this SCP that go inside can't really do so without special suits or oxygen tanks because there's no oxygen for them to breathe.
Let's get into it. So the following procedures are all to be carried out in a repeating cycle of 63 hours, 54 minutes.
Oh god, what an awful time.
Each procedure is to last 39 minutes with 10 hours between each procedure.
I want to see something real quick.
Okay.
63 times 60, that's... let me get a calculator out. I want to see if the minutes spell anything important.
Boobs.
I mean, boobs are important, but that's not what I intended. 63 times 60 plus 54. That is 3,834. Is that a relevant SCP number?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind then. I'm looking for literally any pattern in this nonsense.
Each procedure must be carried out by 6 individuals. The location of each procedure is denoted in parentheses. At the beginning of each new cycle, containment procedures will be carried out in the next ring closest to the containment chamber, so it sort of goes out and inwards.
This is funny because this is like the anti-Tanhony article to me, because you hate containment procedures and you usually keep them short. This whole article is basically a giant containment procedure.
Yeah, ceremonial recitations for all procedures and descriptions of all variant costumes may be found in document 2845 CEXP.
Wait, variant costumes, is this like a fighter character in a fighting game? You change out the colors in the uniform?
Okay, so procedure 410 Constantine is done in the 60 degrees room. Containment specialists are presented with masks, joy, sadness, anger, apathy, fear, and foolishness, and act out Ceremony Constantine A. Ceremony Constantine A is a farcical comedy of errors and exchange of insults between the 6 individuals, culminating in foolishness outwitting the group in a game of riddles and declaring himself king. The conclusion of ceremony Constantine A is followed by a game of dice. The winner of the game is irrelevant to the procedure.
So this is interesting to me because so far we know this game, this is very nonsense. It's highly complicated. But another thing we know is that this thing is threat level black, Catter, so it's super dangerous. Which makes me think how far they go for containment procedures. Is that necessarily based on the risk? Because if it's so risky, I could see why they would go to such fucking awful degrees with the exact times and all these things going in cooperating. But I imagine it's really easy if you're constantly doing this, it's constantly on time limit, it has to be perfect, that they fucked up before. That there's been containment breaches. And I'm wondering what those containment breaches have resulted in if they attempt them. But right now, this seems almost to me like if this wasn't a very threatening SCP, whatever it is, I would almost, as a SCP guy, be like, man, fuck this SCP. I'm not doing this shit. It's too much.
Procedure 420 Perinaldo, 120 nuclear room.
Are Perinaldo, Constantine, Epimetheus... I know Constantine and Cairo are like names. Are these like all relating to a theme of some kind?
I'm not sure. We'll find out afterwards, I guess. Performance of a musical piece for flute, oboe, clarinet, French horn, timpani, and brass drum. The piece is accompanied by specific somatic and vocal components carried out by the players throughout the performance, designated ceremony Perinaldo-A. The performance must be live. Recordings of the piece have no effect.
So far, based on the first two, it seems like whatever this thing is likes the classics. Old-fashioned play and then like classical music. So let's see what comes next with procedure.
430 Epimetheus, 180 degrees. Gifts are exchanged among containment specialists. Content of gifts is irrelevant to the procedure, but each gift must not exceed 4.28 United States dollars in worth.
See, that's where it gets shitty, because what about how do you adjust for inflation? How does the SCP know?
Each gift is accompanied by recitation of ceremony Epimetheus A in its entirety and the scattering of grain around the containment chamber.
So again, this one initially seems like it wasn't, but it kind of feels more like a classical ceremony thing with the whole scattering of grain. It feels like a ritual.
Yeah, it's all very ritualistic.
Yeah.
Procedure 440 Cassiel, 240 degrees. Ceremony Cassiel A is recited as containment specialists bind their feet with wool and consume 0.5 litres of olive oil. They then will break apart a wet rock weighing at least 200 kilograms with hammers. Ceremony Cassiel B is recited throughout.
Why does that sound vaguely... I mean, obviously this is probably a mockery of whatever it's from. Not mockery, but you know what I mean, like a variation of whatever it's from, but that sounds familiar. Maybe it's just such a good job at sounding ritualistic that my mind is making up that it's based on something. But like, I'm like, why does this seem like it's something I've read about?
Procedure 450 Cairo, 300 degrees. A D-class subject is prepared by painting a symbol, ring surrounding a dot with an arrow pointing upwards at a 90-degree point, on a stomach with a platinum-based solution, and presented with a blue cloak, crown, and scepter. D-class object is then restrained in a chair, and ceremony Caro-A is recited. After recitation of the ceremony Caro-A, the D-class subject is to be castrated by use of a hand sickle by a containment specialist. The festies are then to be disposed of in a bowl of salt water, and ceremony Caro-B is recited.
I can't believe cock and ball torture is canon to this SCP's containment.
Procedure 46...
Sorry for interrupting. I know I'm doing it like every procedure.
No. This is the point.
There's so much to fucking divulge.
Point of the show.
One thing that's noting me, and this only comes off because I suddenly remembered when you were like, "How do they know it's an extra dimensional pocket with the Able or whatever we read?" Not that it's done anything like that, but what makes me curious is how much testing or what did they have to do to fucking figure out these precise containment procedures, these exact times, the exact dollar value, that it can't be recorded. How many times have they done this? How did they perfect it? How did they learn all this? The only thing I could possibly coherently think of, because assuming it's super dangerous, they didn't have time for enough trial and error, is that with this SCP, they discovered some ancient ritual that like specified it. And then anytime they strayed from that, they found out it didn't work.
Right,
That's the only thing I can think of. Because this is so highly fucking complicated.
Well, maybe
I don't know how they would come to that conclusion. All right. Sorry, but we're on 460, right?
460 Omphilus at 0 degrees. Ceremony Omphilus A to be recited before roasting of a child of no more than 3 months of age. Ceremony Omphilus B is recited before consumption. After consumption of the child, ceremony Omphilus C is recited over the gastroliths, which are then swallowed. Vomiting is then induced, and ceremony Omphilus D is recited, signaling the beginning of a new cycle.
Ah, yes, the cycles.
Reciting. How refreshing. In the case, this is actually how we produce an episode of Discovering SCP.
Yeah, this is how many bells and whistles there are.
So in the case of containment breach, Site-100's nuclear device is to be detonated, followed by lockdown of all Foundation facilities, and activation of Protocol 2845 XK1, strike down the moon.
God! Alright, so this is called a message from containment consultant blank blank to site director Dell 13112, and when you open it, it says Towering Cadith, my home.
So if you would like to take this bit, and I will do the rest of it in exchange.
I have been approached several times already in regards to the containment procedures and their complexity. I have been asked if all of the procedures are truly necessary, if they could not be cut down or edited for simplicity, and at least one claimed that they were patently ridiculous. This is my response, and I expect that it will be seen by all the Foundation staff working on this project. I will not repeat myself, and I find it sickening that after all the struggle to contain this creature, pencil-pushing bureaucrats are still seeking to cut corners where they cannot afford to be cut. The answer is no. The ritual will remain as it is and will not be changed in any way. It cannot be cut down further, nor can it be added to. It has been set in place, and now that it has begun, any deviation at all could very easily be catastrophic. Rituals do not work because of some underlying laws, such as those that science operates on. Rituals work because they are rituals. They work because an arbitrary set of criteria has been met with exacting care. Belief that meeting these arbitrary criteria achieves a certain end assigns power to the ritual. The actions that were once meaningless now have assigned meaning through their repetition and application. So what this implies is that this ritual was from the past. They are repeating it, as I was guessing. That's my guess, just reading this so far. And it also implies, in the setting of SCP, or at least in the setting of this specific article's canon, that things are given power through collective belief and repetition, which, is somewhat common, but interesting nonetheless. This is how one seals away a god, and this is a god. I know that the Foundation does not approve of using the term, but it is still the case. The stag is a god, and it is not a pretty local god. It is not one of the mild gods of Earth or some weaker spirit that is bound by the strength of man's belief. Okay, so a little bit differing already from what I saw. We have, for the time being, fooled it into thinking that we have overpowered it. It does not understand that we do so falsely. It is a god. For gods, words have power, power capitalized. Ritual and belief hold greater power over a god than all the laws of science. However, it must be kept in mind that the stag could escape right now if it so chose. With a thought, this entire facility could turn into a puff of hydrogen. If at any point the stag thought to escape, it would, and we would be powerless to stop it. However, it will not think to escape or even to change its strategy. The idea will not even pass through its mind. It cannot comprehend the concept. It does not think in the way we think. Truth be told, I would not say that it thinks at all. This is an old god. It does not dabble in decisions. Decisions are for creatures who may act erratically, variably, or out of line. A god of this strength simply is. It is an absolute. It acts as a force. In building this ritual, we have shifted its being the slightest bit, and now it is locked into a pattern of behavior. It struggles against us, we struggle against it, and we are locked together in an eternal dance so long as the ritual remains intact. If one thing goes awry, the entirety is lost and the deadlock is broken. Unstoppable force without an immovable object. The rituals might seem to be nonsense, but they are what I divine to be the best course of action. They are powerful symbols there, and whether or not you or I think they are appropriate to the situation is irrelevant. I have listened to the converted, and I have listened to the echoes of the stag in their songs. They are not suffering, but they are no longer human. They are changed utterly. The ritual remains as it is. So this is a very interesting article. We don't know what the stag is, but it's something of great power, even compared to other SCPs. But what's interesting is they say that the staff, if it wanted to, if it wasn't locked in belief, could turn the whole facility into a puff of hydrogen. But my question is, just because it can do something, would it? I mean, don't get me wrong. I assume the reason they can't let it out is because at any moment everything could, be destroyed. But theoretically, is that necessarily its goal to destroy? Or is it just that simply whatever it does happens and the repercussions of which are too powerful to risk doing?
Is it malicious, or is it just that what it does?
One other interesting note, and I think the line that this SCP is going to go is that the person who wrote this note is right. But what's interesting is in the last bit, it talks about how he or she divined this, how they've listened to the converted. It kind of almost makes me sound like maybe this person is the one who believes in the ritual more than the god, and perhaps they are the one forcing everyone into this, and it's not as important as they think. That's one way I think the article could go, but I think they're going to stick with the narrative as presented by the person who wrote that. But that's just a bunch of speculation. Let's see how it goes, Tan. Back to you.
Okay, description. SCP-2845 is a quadruped entity measuring 2.9 meters in height at the shoulder and weighing 815 kilograms. A sinuous neck, generally held in upright position, extends a further 0.5 meters even, terminating in a head with humanoid facial features. SCP-2845 possesses antlers measuring 4.8 meters across Antlers are white with black marbling in coloration and have not been observed to shed. It is covered in hair with an average length of 10 centimeters, with the exception of the face, which is hairless. Its coloration is primarily a pastel green, with a stripe of cream on the underside of the neck and belly. A ring of ice particles is suspended 15 centimeters behind the SCP's skull, measuring 1.7 meters in diameter, with a ring thickness of 35 centimeters.
One thing, and maybe it's just to enunciate how specific it is, but even in the description, they're very specific with every little measurement. And I don't know if that's just a holdover from other SCPs or if that's further adding onto the article's preciseness, like the point is trying.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
This ring is interrupted at regular intervals by 7 spheres consisting of metallic hydrogen and metallic helium, each measuring 15 centimeters in diameter. The ring and spheres rotate clockwise at a speed of 1.6 rotations per minute. Yeah, definitely, I would say. The force maintaining the movement of the ring, the physical state of the spheres, and the means by which SCP-2845 is capable of supporting its head under the weight of its antlers are unknown. SCP-2845 is capable of instantaneous transmutation and reconstruction of matter. No matter is created or destroyed during this process.
My god, it's a covenant exchange. Ha ha ha. Funny Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist!
Discovering SCP.
Should we start doing the Discovering SCP cards in the middle of the podcast?
Sure.
Discovering SCP!
This property is manifested at will, with an observed range extending to targets within eyesight. Maximum range of this ability is unknown.
Make it sound like a stand with like range and shit.
Transmuted matter will remain stable despite the lack of other factors. For example, metallic hydrogen and helium are common results, which will remain in either solid or liquid form despite the surrounding temperatures.
That explains why they need it so cold.
Altered atmosphere will not mix with unaltered regions, maintaining chemical consistency. The most common transmutation results are the solid or liquid forms of hydrogen and helium, the conversion of atmosphere into a hydrogen/helium/ammonia mix, and the transmutation of plant life into metalloid-based organisms. SCP-2845 will typically surround itself with a transmuted area with a radius of approximately 5 meters at all times. It has proven itself completely resistant to physical damage.
Yeah, but has it tried magical physical damage or thunder,
Divine Smite,
lightning? Divine Smite!
Dead boy could get it.
You know, unironically, I want to put this in the campaign now. It's like a mystical beast. But I want to warn you because I could see you're struggling there, and I struggled reading. If you need to popcorn this again, let me know.
No, it's no worries.
We're a team. You don't have to go it all alone, Tan.
You guys.
This is fucking long.
I look behind me, all the viewers. The most common forms of offensive transmutation used by the SCP are a column measuring 5 to 7 meters in diameter and 60 to 80 meters in height.
Oh my god, it is Edward Elric. Didn't he fucking do that all the time?
Or a horizontal cone measuring between 100 and 150 meters in length and 10 to 30 meters in width at the furthest end. I don't think he did it at that chunky.
No, he didn't, but he even in the opening, remember he's making the pillars,
yeah.
Fucking jumping backwards.
However, the SCP has been observed to attack single targets at distances of up to 10 kilometers.
So this is one issue I have. And I know that it's all about the SCP being precise, so I understand that that's what it's going for. But specifically, just this paragraph, not the rest of it, kind of frames it like they make it sound like a video game. A little bit with single target, precise range, offensive transmutation. It makes it sound gamey, but otherwise, I'm really liking this article so far.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Early observation of the SCP during recovery indicated they will generally ignore non-combatants, focusing on retaliation against attackers. However, the SCP was not seen to make any efforts to spur non-combatants within the area of effect of its transmutations, and later recovery accounts indicate preemptive attacks against both military and civilian targets.
Right.
-1 designates human beings that have been modified by SCP-2845. Instances of -1 are hexagonal columns measuring 2.4 meters in height with rubbery yellow-green skin.
How much do you guys want to bet that's what happens to the 5D class a week?
-1 instances do not have any outward sense organs, and autopsy has shown that internal organs were likewise absent, save the brain, which now takes up the entirety of the column and contains the reconstituted mass of the other organs and some additional outside materials. It's unknown how -1 instances derive nutrients, or if any nutrition is required.
Oh, I hate that because it implies they're still alive.
Neuroimaging of -1 specimens has revealed that the brain is in a constant state of high activity. Analysis of multiple specimens indicate patterns of call and response, so some form of remote communication between -1 specimens is presumed.
Do you think they're part of what powers 2845?
I like the idea because it's mentioned like it doesn't do that much thinking. It then makes these things to think for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. No pun intended.
Well, the call and response. They're recording a podcast.
This is the part where the video like cuts out of the typical frame and it like shows us speaking and it's just two fucking emerald hexagon columns.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, I'm glad that never happened to us.
Motile variants of -1 have been reported, but have evaded capture and study.
Honestly, this SCP as a whole sounds like something we would have in Tanhony Tower, fending off the fucking people invading us.
Oh, so some of these are able to move.
An abridged timeline of SCP-2845 from initial discovery. So this is the last thing, right? We're not reading the 2845 declared contained, or is that part of what we're reading?
That'll be something else.
Okay.
What do you take
Let's
this
do
one? Popcorn.
All right. November 27th, 2011. Initial sighting of Comet C/2011 W3.
Oh god,
December
oh
1st,
fuck.
2011. Comet C/2011 W3 confirmed by Mount John University Observatory. December 2nd, 2011.
Just say comet.
Comet W3 confirmed and named by the Minor Planet Center. 16th of December 2011. Comet reaches perihelion. What's perihelion?
I'm not sure there.
All right, you look up perihelion while I keep reading. Solar Dynamics Observatory records images of a fragment breaking off from the main body of the comet, maintaining a speed of 0.0018 c.
So
December
the perihelion
17th.
is the point in the orbit of a planet, asteroid, or comet that is nearest to the sun.
December 17th, 2011. Who wrote this again?
Djoric.
Djoric, nice. Are they still active?
They are not at the moment now.
Oh, sad face. December 17th, 2011. Fragment trajectory confirmed to end in collision with Earth with estimated impact of December 20... Was that when the end of the world was supposed to happen?
That was 2012, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
December 21st, Merry Christmas.
Star Station deterrence procedure fails at changing fragment's course. Public announcement made by United Nations, evacuations begin. I don't remember that. I wonder if we were given amnestics. December 21st, 2011. Fragment impacts in the Pacific Ocean, 124 kilometers off the western American coast. December 24th, 2011. SCP-2845 believed to reach shore on this day. So it's an alien.
December 25th, fucking imagine Evangelion, like, it's an angel!
Get in the robot, Tan, or else Darnell will have to. First observation of 2845.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, video footage. Drone contact made. SCP confirmed as hostile. Foundation assets within United States military begin direction of recovery and containment procedures with assistance of Global Occult Coalition. Representatives. Foundation containment tanks in the region enter lockdown. Hang on.
I like that this also implies that the secrecy is out the window at this point.
Yeah, we have to have all been given amnestics. December 26th through 29th, 2011. Artillery bombardment of 2845 commences along with initial battery of tests. Contact with outside containment consultants made at this time upon observation of 2845's properties. December 30th, 2011, data expunged. 2845 is unimpeded for 16 hours. Y'all remember when we fucking... Yeah, everyone. America hasn't had an attack on its shore since Pearl Harbor.
The dia.
2011. December 31st, 2011, bombardment recommences. January 1st through 14th, 2012. 2845 is led across the Sierra Nevada mountains while remaining under heavy bombardment. Blank develops initial containment procedures. Wait, those blanks match up with whoever wrote that article. January 15th,
Mr. Big Brain.
2845 reaches predetermined containment area. Initial containment procedures enacted. 2012. Initial containment procedures end in success. January 20th, 2012, construction of Site 100 begins. February 3rd. So what's interesting is they found a way to contain it without the weird maze.
Well, I assume they did it without the walls and shit.
Yeah. February 3rd, 2012, refinements of containment procedures implemented. So it worked until they refined it. So I wonder why they had to refine it. February 19th, 2012, 2845 finally declared contained. So I know, Tanson, we're not reading that part. This was very interesting, but it feels like it's lacking a conclusive end for me. But otherwise, I really like what it sets up. I feel like it's a very unique atmosphere compared to most SCPs. I mean, sure, it's big creature, end of world, but it has a very specific thing with like precision and bizarreness
rituals as well, definitely.
Yeah, that give it kind of a unique feel compared to some it's spooky monster. Not that all SCPs are like that, or not that it's all.
The Dia is very much a spooky monster as well, but it has more to say.
It's very more ritualistic. It reminds me more of something performance based than something necessarily like military or like focused solely on its destruction. Most of the article until the end is very much containment based, which is unique because Tan mentioned in our video we did on containment procedures that depending on how you do an article, you can make the entire article based around the special containment procedures, and that's kind of what we have with this. I'm more interested in the individual that created this ritual. I'm more interested in how the ritual came to be. I'm more interested in what this creature is. And maybe that's answered in the article we're not reading yet. But I really liked it. But there's just a few things missing that make it shy out of a 10 of 10 for me. So I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of mythology involved with this as well, just for a bit of lore.
Is that mythology related to the theme that I don't yet know? Okay.
So,
and with... Yeah. I think we're finished.
I was going to tell you about the mythology, but...
Oh, sorry, fuck me. No, do the thing. Sorry.
So, yes. If you know, like, the Greek Titan, Kronos, like the mythological ate his kids.
Big old guy got killed by Zeus.
So, yeah, this is sort of meant to be like that.
He's meant to be Kronos, or, like, similar to the Titans?
Well, it's kind of based on Kronos. Just a lot of the mythology that came about there.
How do you know that? Is that gone into more detail in the other article, or is that something you've just gotten by theories?
Something that the authors mentioned in the past, I believe. And it has a lot, like, with the eating of children as part of the containment procedures as well, because Cronus loved to munch down on his kids.
Yeah,
Crunchy.
Interesting. It's a shame you said Djoric's not too much active. I would love to hear someone who came up with this. I would love to hear from their mind, not just about this SCP, but in general. I feel like they'd have a certain amount of creativity and a certain way of thinking that I would love to interact with them if given the chance to have him on or something, or just talk to him in a casual setting.
And another way, SCP, the Dia is also meant to be from Saturn in this, and Cronus is like the Titan of Saturn.
Right. Okay. Cool. So I really like that, yeah, but because I don't have those last answers, I'll give it a 9 out of 10, but I feel like it does have 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 potential, and maybe that is what it is if we read this last article, but nevertheless, really liked it. Very bizarre, very different from a lot of the ones we've come across thus far, and especially, it's very bizarre. We start with, like, cat that's 3 paragraphs, just half a cat, and then fucking...
the Dia.
Dissertation. The stag.
So yeah, this is a very interesting episode. I like that. I really like 2845. Like, it's a very weird creature, but when it says it's a god, you kind of believe it because it acts like weirdly enough.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like direct the surreal type thing that's up your alley. Very much like it. 9 out of 10, definitely. With obviously 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 probably if I'd read that other part, but just there's too many questions left for me that I wish were answered. Very cool. I liked it a lot. I'm glad to have the context you've given me. You guys below, let us know which one of these was your favorite, what you think, what you'd like to see in the future, and hey, why don't you guess what the theme is, because I have no fucking clue.
They know.
They do?
They know.
I don't like this shared secret.
If they like SCP, that they know. Well, maybe we'll record this one a bit sooner then, so you can have this fresh in your mind. Because you'll want it.
Record what a bit sooner.
Next episode.
Maybe, yeah. We'll try and get to that.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone.
Yeah, before we go, can you go to, if it's a self-plug, is that Plug Zone?
Whoa! Darnell, the door, the floor, opening! No. Howdy, partner. Welcome to the Plug Zone.
Hey, guys. So, I talked about this in the comments.
You got something for the plug?
I got something to plug. Listen up, partner. So I talked about this in the comments of the chess episode we did, and I mentioned it briefly on the server. By the way, if you're not in the Discord server, you should hop in. It should be in the description of this video and all or most of our others. Make sure to check that out. We're starting a new series, and we're going to attempt to, every Wednesday, release a video of Tan and I playing a game. So far, we're thinking they're going to be quote-unquote strategy games, and typically with the concept being me versus Tan. But we might also do co-op games or just regular games you guys are interested in seeing. If that's something you'd like to see, let us know on those videos. The numbers are a good representation of what you guys want to see. If there are specific games you're interested in, we have those games or have a way to get to them. We might try those out as well. So far, we've done Duel Links, we've done chess, And then I think we already have what's planned for this Wednesday. I hope you guys stay tuned. It's going to be a surprise, but we think you're going to like it. Yeah, so just keep an eye out on that series. We're pretty proud of how it's going. And if you guys like it, we're going to make it a regular part of the channel, along with the podcast episodes and the occasional videos of randomness we put out every so often.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything you would like to plug? Nudge, nudge.
So,
Cough, cough.
April Space is going very well. We've got 2 chapters out right now. Maybe the third one available on Sunday. I say maybe. I've already pre-scheduled it, so it will be coming out on Monday. Check it out, or I'll kill you.
That's all right. Aetherial Space is now being published on Royal Road. Like you said, he'll drop a link down in the description. Also, if you're interested, the first 2, not chapters, but I don't really know what to call them, the first 2 parts of Aetherial Space are up on the channel to listen to. We may record more in the future. Tan wants the main way to be read on Royal Road, obviously, but who knows? We may or may not do more of those.
Yeah,
but
maybe...
if you want a taste of what Aetherial Space is like and you forgot how to read after listening to this SCP, you can go listen to those videos. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll release some readings as the chapters go out. That might be fun.
Yeah, I like the idea. We could either do the readings 1 week ahead of when they come out or 1 week after, so if they're still encouraged to go check it out, but like kind of a lag.
Maybe simultaneously.
That could work too. I'm down either way. I'm not picky.
Well, we won't discuss it in the podcast because our friends are here.
Oh yeah, hi. No, you guys are a part of the decision-making process. You're all here with us.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm staring at you intensely, waiting for you.
Hey, whoa! You can't say that on our podcast.
Hey, listen, we could get in a lot of trouble if you say that. That's not appropriate.
You're like our friends and everything. We appreciate that, but
yeah, we think you would be more socially conscious.
We'd like to ask you to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
okay.
Well, thanks for listening at any rate. Sorry you had to spoil things like that.
Yeah, sorry about that one guy. All right, bye.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.